If you've ever been to the Netherlands, you may have noticed these numbered signs, which isn't surprising because it's estimated that there are as many as 150,000 of them throughout the country, making up a comprehensive web with the purpose of guiding those rolling on two wheels. And today, on day 5 of my trip across the Netherlands, one of those two-wheelers will be me. I begin my day in Eindhoven with the final destination of Nijmegen over 70 kilometers away. Instead of relying on Google to help me navigate, I'm using the bicycle Junction network. It's a simple yet brilliant idea, a fine mesh network of cycling routes that covers entire countries, guiding you effortlessly from junction to junction. But perhaps surprisingly, it isn't a Dutch invention. The system was first developed in the 1990s by a Belgian named Hugo Bolin, with the inaugural network opening in Belgium in 1995. It actually took until 1999 for it to spread to the Netherlands, first into Limburg. However, once it did, it quickly flourished, because today both the Netherlands and Belgium are crisscrossed by these cycling routes, with the system continuing to expand into France and Germany. But in the Netherlands alone, there are more than 9,500 junctions that make up this interconnected web, and now more than half of Dutch cyclists regularly make use of it. The nodes are carefully selected to include the safest and most scenic paths, often using low-traffic roads or fully separated bike lanes. At each junction, you'll typically find green and white, clearly marked signs displaying the node number at the top, followed by connected nodes, each accompanied with an arrow pointing in their general direction. Just follow along towards the next node, and you'll find signs placed at eye level, which repeat after most intersections to confirm you're on track. You can follow pre-planned routes, perfect for day trips or multi-day adventures, often themed around Dutch culture or landmarks. For instance, I happened to pass through a stretch of the Van Gogh route today. Or you can take advantage of the system's flexibility and create your own journey. And making that easy are the maps you'll find at nodes, showing the surrounding network. Just decide on the sequence of node numbers you want to follow, jot them down, and set off. But for longer and more complex trips, technology comes in handy. I opted for Fietsknoop, which is available on Android, iPhone, and browser. For example, I'm just starting outside of Eindhoven. You can either select each subsequent point or simply select your destination. For me, that'll be Nijmegen. Keizer Karelplein, that looks like it'll be a nice spot. And boom, you have a route. You can print it out if you like. Some people will even tape the series of numbers on the crossbar. You can use your phone like any other navigation app. Or if you're one of those gifted people, just remember them, I guess. Now, I'd like to head out straight away, but before I do, there are a few things I still need to showcase in Eindhoven. And if you haven't seen it, there is a separate video where I toured the city with Roy Simons, author of Fietspad, in which we played a game where we went looking for the good and bad of Dutch design elements. It's probably one of my favorite videos I've ever made. And in one scene, we came up to a large intersection. I get this out-of-focus drone shot, I put the GoPro down for a time lapse, all good, except for one thing. Let me slow that down a bit. Yep. That's me, taking off. And I didn't notice until after we finished our tour, but it seems luck was on my side.
It's there. It's it. It's still there. Oh my God. It's still recording. Oh my God.
Guess that's your honest, huh?
Well, I'm gonna have a great time lapse of this intersection.
You are.
Roy accompanied me on my way out of the city, where we got a mini art tour. First was this tunnel plastered with the face of the legendary John Cleese, paying homage to the classic Monty Python skit.
I'm afraid that the administrative
We also saw the flying pins before arriving at the Bear Pit, where we found this really neat roundabout surrounded by murals. And this is actually where you can see Step Into the Arena, an annual graffiti festival where artists replace the old with the new. But that is where we parted ways, and I figured there was no better way to top off this mini art tour than to see something that pays tribute to the Netherlands' most famous painter, Vincent van Gogh. This here is the Starry Night bike path. At over 600 meters long, this path has thousands of colored stones that are charged by daylight, meant to showcase elements of the famous painting. Unfortunately for me, only visible in their full glory at night. But that didn't stop me from trying something. I'm wondering if I can get down on the ground like some guy in World War II looking at a map and see if any of this closes. Oh wow, cool.
that actually worked. It wasn't the brilliance that you'd get at night, I'm sure, on a really dark night. But if you want to know what it looks like, here's a photo from Roy's book.
But now it was time to begin the longest leg of my trip so far. Fietsknoop gave me a list of over 40 nodes, too long for me to remember, and without a printer, I just simply made a mental note of the first few numbers, and off I went. And before I even reached my first node, I came across a little bonus for Lessons from the Dutch bingo.
Roy's gonna be happy about this. Knocked one off the list. Bicycle pulled from the canal.
Just a minute later, I made it to my first node successfully.
Van Gogh route, and there's an 81 and a 34. We're looking for 34, which is a right turn. A right turn's easy, so this is a node. This is 35 that we're at, and we need to go to 34. There we go. Oh, this is beautiful. I don't mind the wind today because I'm a little bit warm, but the sun out, this is perfect. Holy! So far so good. It's been super easy. We've passed 3 nodes already. It's such a relaxed experience. There's something about it. When you're following Google, you have the phone on your handlebars. You're constantly looking down to make sure you didn't miss a turn and you're going the right way. But here it's all 100% heads up experience because you're trying to pay attention to where these signs are. And you're naturally just looking around, taking in the environment. What a wonderful system. Two. 63. All right, I've hit a node. I think I'm at 63 now, and I don't remember what comes after that. So what I'm gonna try now is that it has audio prompts. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one of my wireless earbuds in one of my ears and just listen and see what happens that way. So I don't even know what number comes next. Well, I'll check the next one. 93, so I gotta double back. Okay, let's try it out.
The next node is 92. You're approaching node 92.
Stop sign. Oh, good boy, right? Gotta win.
Are you still on track?
So I made a wrong turn. I was supposed to go straight through here, which wasn't very obvious. And all these signs made me miss the node signs, so I just, in my ear, just said, "Are you still on track?" So then I was like, well, I'm just gonna turn around and see if I can find the sign, and there it was, so that's helpful.
Welcome back on track.
Okay, so I've essentially reached the halfway mark. I only had 2 times where I went off track, but it's like, hey, are you off track? Are you off track in your ear? So you just turn around and you're like, oh, there's the number. And it's like, welcome back on track, easy peasy. Now we're going cross country. Got some dirt roads here. Whoa, oh, it's like sand almost. I feel like I'm gonna wipe out. Holy shnikes. So as they say, when in the Netherlands, do as the Dutch do. And that means when you see a bicycle desire path, you take it. That simple. Beach pad, this is the bicycle path, I guess. Okay, you say so.
Here, I doubled back to look at this crossing.
So this is an edge lane road. I was coming from the other way, but from here, it directs you onto the side, wants you to yield, trying to yield. Has a raised crossing, and it's narrow to slow down drivers. Then you cross the street onto the 2-way cycle track. So that's how you get cyclists onto the other side of the street. Oh, this guy's flying. Holy sh! 58, 56, straight ahead. A real big mix of infrastructure along the way. You know, sometimes it was a separated bike lane, sometimes it was a shared road with maybe an edge lane road, maybe. Sometimes it was just a country highway, and here we're on a Fietsstraat. These routes are comprised of so many different types of infrastructure.
That also included this fast cycle route, the Maaswal pad, which led me to a bridge with a beautiful and wide bike path. This is the aptly named Maasover. It crosses the Meuse and connects Kuik in North Brabant with Mook in Limburg.
So here we are about to cross a bridge, and cross into a brand new province. We'll call it. And, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to Limburg. Bit anticlimactic, but it's about to happen again. Now we're leaving Limburg and we're going back to Gelderland right about now. But we're gonna stay this time. We're not just passing through.
So yeah, I was only in Limburg for a little more than 5 minutes. You might be thinking, that's cheating, Nick. And you're right, it is, but don't worry, I will be back.
Oh man, the smell in there in that forest, just that, fresh smell of nature. Now, it smells like petrol exhaust. We're by a road now. That was lovely. That was something. Absolutely beautiful. So after, I don't know, like 60, 70 kilometers, I finally reached civilization. Went through a few small towns, but we're here at the edge of Nijmegen. I believe I just went by a university there. And yeah, a lot more people. And we're getting close to rush hour now. About 5 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. And yeah, life, people, happenings. So now that I've entered town, I found it already a bit harder to keep track of the signs. There's just more going on, so it's harder to pay attention.
Despite the visual overload, it was pretty straightforward to my final node.
This is it. This is the node. I'm just gonna pull in here. So there it is, 0.45. It didn't feel as long as it was. I think it was 3.5 hours, if that. With the stopping, you know, it's a bit longer, but it, for whatever reason, I don't know, is because I was paying attention to the signs or what, it didn't feel that long. It was a nice trip. In fact, towards the end, it got really nice. There was that forest. Oh my God, the smell, incredible. Anyway.
One thing I loved is how straightforward it is. No trying to remember or even read a plethora of Dutch street names or towns. Just load up the route and away you go. The numbers will guide you on your way. That being said, you have to be paying attention, because without the lady in my ear telling me when to turn around, I could have easily put myself way off track.
This is the city center, basically, of Nijmegen. My hotel's on the other side of it. I'm gonna go check it out.
Nijmegen is the largest city in Gelderland and boasts being one of the oldest cities in the country, dating back to Roman times. It even celebrated its 2000th birthday back in 2005. Now, sadly, I arrived too late for the market that takes place in the square under the shadow of the old Way House, but regardless, great vibes in the city center. And if you know me, you know that I love a good bridge. And Nijmegen has plenty spanning the wall. I just had to check them out. The first is the Oversteek, the crossing in English. It's the longest single-arch bridge in Europe. While the name, The Crossing, made it seem like they spent all the money on the design with none left for the naming committee, it actually derives from an assault across the river at this location by American paratroopers during the Second World War, and a daily sunset march takes place across the bridge where 48 streetlights illuminate one by one at the pace of the march, each a tribute to the 48 soldiers who died in the crossing. At the south side of the bridge, you can find a burgeoning neighborhood in the former industrial area that has a sports park, public pump track, brew pubs, and restaurants. I mean, I wouldn't mind coming back here on a sunny day for a pint. On the east side stands the much older wall bridge, which remarkably survived the war. It was originally blown up by the Dutch during the German invasion, then rebuilt by the Germans themselves, and later nearly destroyed again by retreating German forces, only to be saved at the last moment by Dutch resistance. Many historical photos from that time exist, some even showing signage for a foot and cycle path. Next was the aptly named Spoorbrug. Sadly, the name, as far as I can tell, lacks any significant connection, but it makes up for it by hosting a museum. I have a lot more to say on this bridge tomorrow, so today I simply crossed it to get myself to another bridge, the Lentloper, which connects the village of Lent on the north side of the wall to the small island of Vierlent. It has a raised section for car traffic and lower sections on either side for pedestrians and cyclists. But what really makes this bridge interesting are the two walkways underneath that connect either side. And what you are greeted with once you cross to this little island is a must-see if you ever visit Nijmegen, because this sculpture is actually modeled after a real Roman cavalry sports helmet that was discovered in a gravel bed on the south bank of the wall back in 1915. Believed to be nearly 2,000 years old, masks like this would have been worn by elite cavalry during games, something like Roman jousting. The masks are often made of iron, bronze, brass, and silver with custom features, such as the diadem atop this one displaying 5 distinct figures. You can see the original on display at the Valkhof Museum. But I quite enjoy the view from here, because from this vantage point, I could see where I'd be rolling out first thing tomorrow morning.